What's up, everyone? As you guys know who these two are, right? The greatest of all time, Muhammad Ali. I grew up hearing about Muhammad Ali all the time. I used to watch the black and white fights, because, back in the days, my grandfather, when I used to train with him, he would train me in boxing. He always mentioned his quote, float like a butterfly, sting like a bee. So, I'm getting jabbed in the face, man, by my grandfather with gloves. It wasn't fun for me, but that's all I heard. Every time he would throw that jab, that quick jab, the two quick jab, 1-1. Well, it's still 1-1. Then he hit me with the two, which is the right hand. And my grandfather always said, float like a butterfly, sting like a bee. When he starts saying that, I know he's going to go with a two double jab, follow with a straight right. So I know that's when it's coming. But anyways, I watched his fight against Frazier, also George Foreman, and all the other fights that he had. Let me tell you, he was an innovator. He had finesse, he had the footwork, he had the speed. His just ring intelligence was all there. And that one fight, man, he was just like letting the dude just try to punch him. Then that guy must have tried to punch him like 25 times and he missed. That's how bad it was. Like I said, this man is the greatest of all time. He's the innovator. And you guys see now, the boxers now these days, and their idol is Muhammad Ali. You know what I mean? The way how he moves, it's like fluid. And pretty much he's a very intelligent fighter. And a lot of fighters look up to him, especially boxers. He's a true legend in boxing. And to me, he's the greatest of all time. And, died at the age of 74. You guys know he had Parkinson's. He was battling against that. And also, I'm sure there's other stuff happened as well. Like I said, he had a lot of fights in the ring as well. And you guys know back in the days, the gloves were not as good as the gloves that we have today, technology wise. And they fought longer rounds, like 18 rounds, 20 rounds. Like the old school boxers, they will fight long rounds, and they don't take too many breaks in between, man. So yeah, definitely, Muhammad Ali, rest in peace. One of the greatest boxers that ever lived, if not the greatest boxer that ever lived. All right, there's other people with him as well in that greatest of all time too. So I'm not going to mention those names, but definitely I want to give a tribute to Muhammad Ali. All right, died at the age of 74, not too long ago, this past weekend. They announced it. Yep, and you guys know Kimbo Slice. Yes, YouTube sensation, backyard brawler, the infamous street fighter. You know what I mean? He's a legend at his own sport. In street fighting, bare knuckle boxing, call it what you want. People call it brutal, but that's what he lived for, guys. Kimbo Slice, he has great hand speed. Man, this guy's vicious, man. If you guys seen some of his YouTube fights, man, the one that sticked out to me was the most grotesque fight that he had when he punched that dude so hard. I think it was a left hook to the guy's chin, popped the dude's eye out, and you could see literally his eyeball is on the side of his face, just hanging there. They had to throw in the towel. He gave up. Oh man, I couldn't blame him, but I was just wondering, how did the doctor push that eyeball back in there? But wow, man, like what I said, he fought a lot of people on the street, in the backyard. That was his fame, man. YouTube videos of him fighting in the backyard, dude. Like I said, I gotta give Kimbo Slice credit. Died so early in his age, 42 years old. He needed a heart transplant. I think it was at the beginning of the month, from what I read. In, I guess, June 3rd, they admitted him to the hospital, and he was having a lot of heart condition, and he needed a heart transplant. But I guess, God came to take him. So rest in peace, Kimbo Slice, one of the street legends out there, backyard brawler. Definitely, man. I used to watch his videos, man. I was like, wow, man, this guy can fight, man. This guy's a beast, dude. Like, for a street fighter, he's a beast. He transitioned as well into MMA. You guys know he made it in the UFC. The Ultimate Fighting Championship. The show, he made it on there on Tough. He also made his debut in professional boxing, and also fought in Bellator too. So, that goes to show you, man. I know he didn't get too much, respect, that he actually deserved, but we gotta pay homage to him because he kind of paved the way. Trying to tell people don't street fight, try to make it professional, which he did. I acknowledge that. He's a, yeah, to me, for somebody to go from street fighting to transition into professional fighting, choosing that path and actually kind of motivated all these young folks that actually, do street fighting and all that stuff in the backyard style, the underground fighting. That's what, they call it. And also, like what I said, he's a positive role model from what I've seen, And, I'll be honest with you guys, I got a chance to meet Kimbo Slice. But I didn't know who Kimbo Slice, at that time. It was back in 2003, 2004. I met him in New Brunswick in New Jersey, not too far from Rutgers University. I was working at a hotel. I was the GM at that time. I'm not going to mention the hotel. The funny thing about it is that a guest filed a complaint that there's somebody walking the hallway, and he looks suspicious, and so for me being me, I'm the GM, so I gotta investigate what's going on, right? So Kimbo Slice didn't look like this. Kimbo Slice, this is to me, Kimbo Slice's rip. Okay, Kimbo Slice was twice the size of what he is right here in this picture. I think he must have been like 300 pounds, close to big. You know what I mean? He had a shirt on, and he had his hat, and pretty much his beard was like pretty longer than that. It wasn't even shaped up, man. And definitely he was I was coming down the hall. He was walking up the hall, and I was praying to God. I said, God, please let not. I was thinking in my head, I was like, God, please let it not be this man they're talking about. This guy is big as hell, and listen, I know how to defend myself, but if I could avoid something, I will. And especially if this guy looks scary and big, dude. Like what I said, to me, I was scared shitless, man. I know if I had to like throw down and defend myself, I will. But dude, you guys gotta keep in mind, this guy's like 6'3", 300 pounds. I'm only like 5'4". You know what I mean? And I only weigh like 155 pounds, man, or 150 at best. So he's walking down the hall, and I had to tell him, excuse me, sir, do you have a room here, or, what room are you in? First things first, he's like, in like a deep voice, what are you talking about, man? I was like, I had a complaint, somebody walking up and down the hall, and it was kind of concerned. And he's, in an angry way, said, who complained? I said, I can't tell you who complained, but, then he said, all right, so he came downstairs with me. The room it wasn't even under his name. It was under his, I guess, whoever promoted him at that time, checked him in. So it was kind of like, I know his last name was Ferguson, but everybody called him Kimbo. Then, so what happened, not only I investigated, the guest actually called the police, so the police came over. The funny thing about it, my friend was working that night. He's a police officer in that town. So he came up to me, he said, Ivo, do you know who that is? I said, I don't know who that is. He said, that's Kimbo Slice. I said, who the hell is that? Dude, this guy's a beast, man. And he told me, he said, this guy, he fights. He said, what do you mean fights? In boxing? No. He does underground fighting, street fighting, like backyard style. I said, no freaking way. And dude, and I told him that, he scared the shit out of me coming down the hall, man. I was afraid to even approach him, right? So he started laughing. Then we got everything all situated. But come to find out, you can't judge the book by its cover. Just because he looked like that, for me, I was scared, man. I didn't know what to expect. Dude, after everything was said and done, he came up to me afterwards. He apologized. He shook my hand. He gave me a poster. He signed the poster. I wish I would have kept it. I didn't know he was going to transition into MMA, boxing, professional. But, like what I said, man, you guys can't judge the book by its cover. I know sometimes we stereotype people, you know what I mean? I get stereotyped all the time, you know what I mean? Everyone think, what are you, Chinese? No, I'm not Chinese, but definitely, like what I said, he came downstairs, he apologized, he gave me a poster, shook my hand, and he said, listen, man, if you want to come see my fight, I'm going to fight here. I said, where are you fighting on? And I think he told me he was either Newark, if not New York. But definitely, he was the nicest guy, man. He was talking stories and stuff, he's telling me, where he come from, like Florida, South Florida, I believe. He's telling me, what's he, how long, he's been doing this, like what I say, he was down to earth. He was the nicest person after the fact. Because, like what I said, you're coming at somebody a certain way. And of course, you kind of get defensive. But at the end, it just goes to show me that he came downstairs. He apologized too. Like I said, he shook my hand. He even brought me a poster. And he told me all good, right? He said, yeah, we're all good, man. And I apologized to him and said, I'm sorry, man. I didn't know what was going on. I guess just came to complain. He said, I understand, up to, some people, they just, they get scared because I'm so big. I said, dude, and I started laughing too. I said, dude, I was scared as hell too, man. I didn't know what to do. He said, then he asked me if I knew how to do any martial arts. I said, yes, I do. He said, and what he told me was, you know how I know? Because you're Asian. Most Asian people that I do know have some sort of martial art background. And we started talking, and I told him what I did. I told him I grew up doing Kempo karate, Brazilian jiu-jitsu, judo, Muay Thai kickboxing, and he said, wow, man, that's a lot to get into. Then he asked me, are you interested in like doing like some street fights? I said, no, I'm not interested at all. But I did fight in streets back in the days when I was growing up. He said, yeah, you look like it too, because when you was walking down the hall, you was kind of like, when you post up, right? He said, I seen your arms already. You got your hands on the side, like you're ready to defend yourself. He said, that's how I know you could tell a fighter from another fighter. And that's true, because I look at certain people too, when you see them coming, you see like if you know when they're a fighter because the way how they walk, the way how they carry themselves, and they're always on like a defensive mode. They have their hands already not too low. If they feel like someone's coming approaching them, and to me, when I see some big dude like that, I always have my hands ready on the side, just not closed fist but open, just in case, and that's how he could tell, like he knew that I knew how to fight, and that's what he told me. So that was pretty cool. That was good observation on his end. Like what I said, I gotta give him credit, because like what I said, a lot of young folks looked up to him too, man, watching the YouTube videos, man. And once he transitioned to professional fighting, that become even more motivational for these young folks. Instead of fighting in the street, you could make it. If he could make it, you could make it. That was his message to people. Just gotta stay positive, Both men are legend in their own rights. We gotta pay homage, we gotta pay respect to Muhammad Ali, the greatest of all time, and the greatest of all time in street fighting, the legend himself, Kimbo Slice, man. Rest in peace, gentlemen. Like I said, man, I'm sure you guys up in heaven right now. Kimbo Slice versus Muhammad Ali, But anyways, I just want to, give my tribute to these two athletes here, Much respect to them, man. I respect both of them big time. And like I said, rest in peace to both legends. But definitely, guys, leave me your comments down below. Let me know what you guys think of Kimbo Slice and Muhammad Ali. Like I said, I grew up hearing about Muhammad Ali all the time from my grandfather and my uncle. And definitely, I grew up watching Kimbo Slice fighting people on the street, in the backyards, man. And so for me, it was exciting. But it was more exciting for me to see him transition into professional sport. So definitely, guys, like always, hopefully you guys enjoy these videos that I make for you guys, and hopefully I entertain you guys. So please like and subscribe. And like always, thanks for watching.